Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of MeteoMark Weather. It's great to have you here with me today. We're going to be watching a few things in the tropics as well as our winter storm outlook. Firstly, we're going to be taking a look at this area of low pressure that could be affecting parts of the northeastern and northern Caribbean islands. We'll see how much rain could fall out of this, and will it impact parts of the Caribbean over the next several days. We'll also take a look at the rainfall outlook, and we're going to be keeping an eye on this massive cold air blasting south from Canada over the next couple of weeks. As we get a big storm sometime around the 19th into the 20th that could filter in some very cold air, and on the backside in the interior parts of the Northeast, Appalachians, and New England, we could see a heavy wet snowstorm with a big lake effect event just afterwards. Could this set us up for a cold time just heading into Christmas? Let's get into it. So starting off with our tropics here, right in our red circle here, that is our area of watching concern here. Do I think it's going to develop into anything? Not in the short term here. This is just going to be a nuisance type low pressure system. It is kind of a strange one. It does try to close off here as we head on into the 14th. So in the weekend, we could see some stronger, gustier showers and thunder showers here around Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and even as far east as the Virgin Islands here. But one thing to note, we're going to continue to see this northeasterly flow across the Caribbean. So these north and northeast facing coastlines here, where you have higher terrain, that's where the moisture is going to wring out the most. All the way through Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Dominican Republic, Haiti, eastern Cuba, the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, Honduras, Belize, Nicaragua, Costa Rica here. You're all fair game for this. And we'll go over those rainfall amounts momentarily here. But as we continue through the 16th into the 17th, look what starts to happen here. This low starts to outpace this big area of showers and thunderstorms. So there's a lot of disorganization. This is a very broad area of low pressure. If we just zoom in just a tad there. Now, as we continue through next week into the 17th and the 18th, you see most of this inclement weather stays northeast of the Lesser Antilles and the Virgin Islands. And of course, we got a little wave diving south here, just southeast of Trinidad and Tobago. Look at over here, though. We do start to see a clearing trend. There are some scattered showers just continuing. However, this big old Bermuda high over here is really starting to retreat. It's starting to lose its grip. The wind flow will be changing more out of the east-southeasterly here as we go out in time. And one thing to note here as we go into the 19th, there's going to be a big frontal boundary. Now, let's see how far this can get southeastward, because it got to scour out some of this stuff over here with respect to all of this activity. The shower and thunderstorm activity that's very persistent. That's why I think there's still a slight potential we could see something form out of this. If it does form, it wouldn't be very strong, but look at it. It's just hanging out here northeast to the northeastern Caribbean here, and it's just going to continue in time here as we head through the 22nd. Look at our front diving southward, though, making showers all the way through Honduras, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, up through the southeastern Bahamas as we head through the 22nd. And as we progress towards your Christmas holiday here, look at this. That front does start to wash out here, and we do start to see more influx of tropical moisture get pulled into it. So northern Honduras, unfortunately, more showers and thunderstorms up through Jamaica, especially northeastern Jamaica, right around that Portland parish here and surrounding parishes. And look at this. We got a little wave moving through the Lesser Antilles here. Not going to amount to much of anything. But as we continue through the 25th, right through your Christmas Day, we do have showers and thunder showers just lining up across the Caribbean. It does look a little drier than it has been, and we have a stalled out frontal boundary here to the north. But look what's gone. Finally, we can rid ourselves of that potential whatever could actually develop out of that system. All right, so let's pick up with the European model here, see if there's some agreement, and there is. Yeah, you can see there's unanimous agreement here. There's that system as it just pivots west-southwestward here in this northeasterly flow. You can see these showers just continuing, so we have confirmation here. We're going to continue to see rainfall. I know many of you are probably getting sick of it here in the Caribbean, but, it could be a lot worse. As we continue through December 14th into the 15th, you see it just hanging out between Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic here. It's actually, some of its moisture is getting funneled southwestward here towards Honduras. Jamaica, watch out, especially northeastern Jamaica. continued concerns, but look at this moisture just dive bombing across the west-southwest portion of the Caribbean here. As we head through the 15th into the 16th into the 17th, yeah, you get the idea. These showers and thunderstorms are a little bit further to the south on the European model. So European model is likely going to have increased rainfall amounts as opposed to the GFS. And then look at across Central America here, Jamaica, just continued rainfall here. So we're going to continue to watch it here, and we'll continue to fine-tune this as we go out in time. But here it is. As we continue through hour 144 here on December 18th, you can see there is still a lot of moisture hung up across the Caribbean. Thanks to Tropical Tidbits for our mid-layer moist and dry air analysis here. I want to show you what our system is going to be doing over the next several days here with respect to the moist and dry air. Yeah, there it is. All this moist air coming in from the northeast. Look at the Caribbean, though. It's kind of deceiving because you think, okay, you're not getting rainfall across these areas, but you are, because this moisture is below this dry layer that you're getting across much of the central and western Caribbean. Now look at this. You can see what's happening here. As we go out in time towards the 17th and the 18th, look at all the moisture associated with our system. Our low pressure center continues to move this way while the moisture's this way. So that tells us there's a lot of wind shear, a lot of directional wind shear at this point. So we're going to watch this, but chances are this is probably not going to come much of anything, but we have to watch it just to make sure because there's going to be a persistent area of showers and thunderstorms. Now, some of that moisture does make it into Central America here towards Honduras and Belize as we head through the 21st into the 22nd. We could have another flare-up of a low-pressure system here, and look at this frontal boundary diving across the Gulf of Mexico here. That is one thing we'll keep a close watch on. But one thing as we head towards the 26th, look at this return flow of tropical moisture here across the southern and central Caribbean. That is a trend we'll have to keep a very close watch on. And hopping right over to the European model, very similar situation, only a little bit further south and east, so I'm concerned we could get some heavy rains around Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, as we head through this weekend into early next week. Now, we do have an area of low pressure that's trying to emerge off the coast of Colombia here. We'll keep an eye on that, but the big story is going to be hopefully drier conditions as we head towards the 21st and the 22nd. However, take that with a grain of salt because the European is now kind of indicating this front makes it pretty far to the east here, but there is something trying to develop here on the European model that I wanted to make note of here. It's very persistent, so we may have something in the making here. We have plenty of time to watch it as this goes through Christmas. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS here in the Western Caribbean and Central America. As we head through the weekend, look at northern Honduras there and coastal Belize as well. Jamaica's looking a little bit better. Portland area, Portland Parish. Look at that. That's not too bad. 30 millimeters. So we're getting a little bit lighter. This takes us all the way through Christmas, though. Look at the north coast of Honduras, down into Costa Rica here. Even northeastern Jamaica. Not as bad. 75 millimeters on average there in Portland Parish. Look at the north coast of Honduras, though. This is just terrible. 286 millimeters, 249. You're talking about tremendous rainfall continuing here over the next couple weeks. And look at the Bahamas. You're socked in as well. 80 to 100 plus millimeters, gets you up towards 2.5 to 4 inches. But yeah, these rainfall totals in northern Honduras are dangerous. I mean, this is where we're getting up towards 7, 8, 9, 10, almost up to 12 inches of rain here in some areas, locally higher. So yeah, north coast of Dominican Republic as well, up towards 125 millimeters. So watch out. Now let's take a look at our latest 18Z of the European model. This just takes us through Tuesday. You can see, yeah, unfortunately, even interior Guatemala here, northwestern part of Honduras, getting tremendous rain just through Tuesday here, upwards of 200 millimeters. It's just awful. Now, as we let's kick it out a little bit farther so that we can get out here on the European model, takes us through the 27th. So, unfortunately, yeah, the European is going pretty much the same northern coastline of Honduras, 2 to 300 millimeters. That's going to get you up towards that 5 to 10 inch range pretty easily. Northeastern Jamaica here, about 73 millimeters. Northern coast here of Dominican Republic, upwards of 100 millimeters, so watch out. And cruising on to the Eastern Caribbean here, look at this. Yeah, our whatever you call this system here is going to be pushing a lot of moisture. Look at down towards Trinidad and Tobago, though, with that tropical wave. You're going to be getting up towards 100 to 150 millimeters. You could easily see that's going to translate anywhere from 3.5 up to about 6 inches. Even up towards Puerto Rico here, wouldn't be surprised if you see anywhere from 80 to 100 millimeters. That'll get you up towards 3.5, close to 4 inches. And I just want to flip over to the GFS, compare it here. Yeah. Actually, if you look, I thought the GFS was going to have lower rainfall totals, but it's still pinwheeling enough moisture here to get you up towards 125 to 150 millimeters across much of the northeastern Caribbean islands. So for our future radar here, yeah, we got a lot of lake effect. You know, west-southwesterly flow, suburbs south of Buffalo, right around Cattaraugus, Allegheny County, just north of Erie as well. You know, it's going to be dropping through about 1 a.m., so watch out. Just south of Buffalo here. Look at this streamer just north of Syracuse as well. It's just continuing to cause all sorts of issues up here towards northern Oswego, Lewis, Jefferson County. Snowfall rates of up to 3-4 inches an hour. But look at this. We get a few light snow showers. We also have a return flow. I don't want to leave you out down south here across Texas. Look at this moist flow just around this periphery of high pressure. So let's continue to go out. This is 7 a.m. Friday the 13th. Yep, here we go. So as we head through the rest of the day, the only thing we have to talk about back east here is this streamer over Oswego, northern Oneida County, even as far, look at that. It's actually making it just to the north of Johnstown over here and near Schenectady. And then look at this system out in the plains. We do have something trying to organize out here, and that's going to promote some mixed precipitation pretty far north here into parts of the Midwest. And as we head through the 14th into the 15th, here's 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. So here we are. We have our next system. And right around the fringes of it here, look at this. This is where we get some freezing precipitation on the northern side. I think it'll be pretty short-lived as the warm air will win out. But yeah, this is what we got coming for our area of the Ohio Valley into parts of the Northeast for your Sunday. And looking at our NAM 3-kilometer snowfall here, this takes us through Sunday morning. So this is the lake effect. Yeah, Erie over to just the suburbs south of Buffalo. That's where you're really going to get cranking. I think you'll easily see 6, 8, 10 inches plus, maybe a foot or more. And then look at here north of Syracuse, Oswego County, Lewis County, southern Jefferson County. You could pick upwards of, look at that, 19 inches. So yeah, south of Buffalo, we're looking about 6, 8, 10 inches. And our snowfall amounts here, if we take a look at the GFS, yeah, this is right around Sunday night into Monday. Look at this, through the Appalachians, 2 to 5 inches with some locally higher amounts. So we'll have to keep a close watch on that. It's not going to be a major storm, but here we go. As we head on into the 19th and the 20th on the backside, we could get more snowfall. Look at that, all the way down into eastern Tennessee, northern Georgia, and Alabama. We'll have to keep a close watch on that. That might pull some pretty cold air. Look at, though, up into parts of southeast Canada. Tremendous snow. And our European run here, let's see how it compares. Right out ahead of it, Sunday night into Monday, early Monday morning, 2 to 4 inches across central and northeastern Pennsylvania down into the Appalachians here. And then as we get into that late next week storm, look at that. That's pretty interesting. The European going pretty crazy here. As we get on into the 21st, into the 22nd, kind of indicating some heavy snow accumulations across parts of the Mid-Atlantic into parts of southeastern New England. And up here into the Northeast, we just zoom in on snowfall totals. Yeah, these heavy lake effect bands are going to continue. Probably another 3 to 8 inches of heavy snow off Lake Erie, as well as Ontario, even more up here, just north of Syracuse and Oswego County. There's that snowfall as we head on into Sunday night and Monday. About 1 to 3 inches with 2 to 4 inches on the hilltops pretty quick before changing over to rain. And then as we head through that next system here on the back side of it, Yeah, the European kind of gets cranking here across the mid-Atlantic into parts of southeastern New England with widespread 2 to 4 inch amounts within these purple areas, upwards of 6 to 8 inches. That's a development we'll have to keep a very close watch on. Liquid precipitation totals on our European model here, you can see, yeah, it's going to be a, wow, look at the southern plains there. Even out west, we got that big storm system coming in as we head through next week. But look at that across the east. This takes us all the way through December 27th. Look at Texas. Tremendous rainfall totals of 4 to 8 inches. And look at this, all the way up into the northeast, these darker purples, 1.5 to 2 inches. And then you get towards the reds, that's 2 to 3 inches, all the way up into the Tennessee River Valley and parts of the southern Ohio River Valley. And I wanted to make note of one area here. Look at the Outer Banks. You could get clipped with some 2-inch amounts here as well. And here we go, picking up where our future radar left off. Let's look at that. There's our system out in the Midwest. Let's track that one because that's going to be the one that's going to cause some issues here as we head through Sunday morning right around 7 a.m. So this is picking up right around where our future radar left off. Cleveland down to Pittsburgh, it looks like mostly rain, but we do have this big cold high to the east, and right out ahead of it, we're going to get some cold air damming on this side of the Appalachians here. So it's going to really hold tough, and we're going to see a burst of heavy wet snow initially, especially into Sunday night, into early Monday morning. But then the warm air wins out here as a warm front pushes through, and it's going to change to all rain as we head throughout the day on the rest of your Monday into Tuesday here. That clears the area. Now look at this as we head on into December 19th here. So we're heading towards the midpoint to latter part of next week. So Thursday. This is the system we're going to be watching. We have a cold front, but there's also an area of low pressure, and there'll be low pressures that develop and ride up along this front and help to pull down some colder air. So Ohio, you know what? This actually almost looks like a carbon copy of the system we just dealt with, because you miss out on a lot of snowfall accumulations across Ohio here. And then once we pivot to the east, it looks like the warm air really outruns here, and the cold air kind of lags behind. So we only get this fringe on the backside that changes to a heavy wet snow, and it'll be brief. Here it is, the 20th at 1 a.m. So we have plenty of time to watch this next Friday morning. And then look at that. That blasts out to sea. There's nothing really to block it. Look how fast it moves up into the Canadian Maritimes. The big story behind it looks to be this big lake effect event that will really kick up here. Toledo, Cleveland, Buffalo, all the way up to Syracuse. These areas could really get pummeled here with snowfall. Now let's just cruise. Oh, look at this. Snow across San Antonio down and through the Mexican-Texas border here, just north of Corpus Christi as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That's some pretty cold air being drugged down there with this big cold high-pressure system as we head through the 23rd. Now let's cruise on into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day here. It looks clear and cold across much of eastern North America here. We do have a trough trying to kick through. Very weak here on Christmas Eve. This is 7 p.m. Most to the east here, pretty clear at this point. But look how fast it moves through. Very little fanfare as we head on into Christmas Day. If you have any travel you need to do, look at this. High pressure just building in control. It's not until the 26th into the 27th we see a big cold front blasting through with the lake effect behind it and maybe a snow squall line ahead of it here through the 27th. As we take a look at our GFS run, yeah, it's very similar here. We have snow on the right ahead of this system Sunday night and Monday. And here it is, about 2, maybe 3 inches here, depending on where you are. Valley locations less. Now look at as we head on into our system. Yeah, the GFS not going crazy with our 19th and 20th system. There is some snow on the backside of it you can see piling up, especially in the higher elevations. And as we head through Christmas, oh, that is interesting. The 12Z GFS was showing a massive blizzard right over parts of New York City and Atlantic City, New Jersey, and all the way down to Delmarva here. Look at that, 30 to 40 inches of snow. And then, of course, our 18Z run completely got rid of it here. That's what this is. This is the 12Z. If we flip over to the newest run here, that is pretty interesting. That goes to show you we could maybe have something going there. But there it is, the 19th into the 20th storm. Let's get rid of that. Here it is on the backside, general 2-inch, 3-inch amounts, locally higher. And you can see this run doesn't have a major blizzard off the coast here. So our upper air pattern, let's get an idea of what's going on upstairs here. So yeah, that Inferno Ridge, that Firecracker Ridge as I call it, builds in for the weekend. Unfortunately, you snow lovers, that's not good news. So let's go out here a little bit further towards the 19th and the 20th. This is a time frame we need to keep watch on because look at this negatively tilted trough. It's not overly impressive, but the fact that it is there this far out kind of tells you that we're going to have a system that could be translating from rain to snow. So we'll see how that translates here. The 21st, this is more of a positive tilt, so it's not as impressive. It does mean a lot of cold air will be around. But one thing to watch here is the reason why the GFS has been flipping back and forth between like a major blizzard across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast to almost nothing is it's having a hard time figuring out what to do with this system right around the 23rd. You can see it gets hung up here across the Southeast, and then this model run brings it up the East Coast, but very weak. It does get blocked here to the Northeast, though. That's a trend we'll have to keep an eye on, but then it quickly moves out and fizzles out. For the European run, I want to show you this because, yeah, there's our Firecracker Ridge for early next week. However, as we get into right around the 19th, this is pretty interesting. The European, you remember the GFS, how it had this trough all the way down into parts of the Southeast. Look at this. It just touches the Northeast. So this is a much weaker system on the Euro. What that allows, though, is energy to come together. See this northern stream branch, and then we have this low across the Gulf Coast area. See how it gets captured by this trough? It's still not negatively tilted. Here it is. It's a positive tilt to it. If the energy comes together just right, it could really form into a massive East Coast storm, but it's just not happening at this point. You see the ridging builds in behind it here. However, this far out, anything's possible. So it's something we need to keep a close watch on because the fact that the models are flip-flopping back and forth with this kind of tells you that something might try to materialize here. Our Canadian weather outlook here. Let's take a look. Yeah, here's the whole vast country of Canada. Wow. Yeah, most of you only get to see it, right along the border here. But yeah, that includes all this up here. Just a side note there. Now, as we continue through time here through the 13th into the 14th, high pressure is really in control across much of eastern Canada here. It's the west coast, British Columbia and Alberta. A lot of mountain snow and rainfall right along the coastline here as we head through the 15th into the 16th. Now, we're going to start to get some moisture funneling across Manitoba, Ontario. There's a couple systems in the United States, one across the eastern Great Lakes and then another one moving off to the north central plains here. That's going to be pushing into Manitoba and Ontario. Look at this. We get some chance for some really decent snow here on the 17th, heading on into much of central and eastern Ontario. That pivots towards Quebec and then over towards parts of the Canadian Maritimes as we head on into the 18th into the 19th. And we got another one here. Not only the west coast seeing some heavy snow, especially that mountain snow, but look at over towards Ontario and Quebec here. Overrunning, you can see the warm front pushing to the northeast. You're going to really pile up some snow over the next couple weeks here across southeastern Canada. Look at this, another storm. As these storms bring warmer air to parts of the U.S. East Coast, it's going to help push moisture up and over and into that cold air across eastern Canada. And you're going to really benefit from some big snow time accumulations, one right after another. And look at this, as we head through the 22nd into the 23rd, another reinforcing shot of colder air across eastern Canada. Look at this, though. By the 23rd, it looks really quiet. If you're traveling for the Christmas holiday, look at that. It looks pretty clear. Most areas Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Day, we do have an Alberta clipper. diving across southern Manitoba and Ontario. High pressure retreating across southern Quebec over here towards north of Montreal. And then as we head towards the 26th, look at this. Where the big population centers are, yeah, we could be looking at some snowfall moving in here. So watch out. So for our snowfall here across Canada, you're going to be the big winner here in North America, obviously. The West Coast, look at that. Those mountains getting upwards of 60 to 130 centimeters. You got snow well up in the feet there, but look at southeastern Canada here. Look at this. Widespread 25 to 40 centimeters with even areas approaching 50 to 60 centimeters. Granted, this is all the way through December 28th, but that's a big turnaround from last winter. And here we go for liquid equivalent precipitation here across Canada. As you know, most of it will be in the form of snow. But look at this, liquid-wise, west coast of Canada, 125 to 200 millimeters. That's get you up towards, say, anywhere from 4 inches up to about 7 inches here. Look at southeast Canada. Yeah, we're just getting pummeled here. 70 to as much as 110 millimeters, some close to 120 millimeters. That's easily getting you up towards 2 to about 4+ inches. Over to the Western Pacific, let's see if that system that was cropping up, yeah, here it is. This is what I'm a little concerned about as we head towards the 15th. Here's the Philippines. Right over here is Vietnam. Of course, South Korea up here, Seoul over to Tokyo, Japan. You're in your cold season, so typhoon season is over. You're just dealing with these systems coming out of the north. Mountain snow, valley rain. But this little feature here, actually, it's not so little. Look at this. Just east of the Philippines. It's looking very menacing. Look at this. So, yeah, it's likely at this point that we're going to see some sort of storm form out of this. In fact, the GFS is taking this up towards hurricane strength. Typhoon, I should say. Yeah, typhoon potential is real. As we head through the 20th into the 21st, we could be looking at a typhoon or tropical system here striking the central and the northern Philippines through the 21st here. I know this is not what you want to hear, as you just saw, especially the northern Philippines last month and the month before. But here it is through the 26th. You can see what's happening here. The intertropical convergence zone is alive and well out here. In these fronts, you have to watch the tail end of these fronts. We could see some spin-ups. And that what looks like to be happening here. Let's take a look at rainfall amounts. And before we continue with more weather, check out these awesome, amazing maps that you won't find anywhere else.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
So if we take a look at our temperatures here, starting off with Friday, December 13th. Yep, Friday the 13th. Look at all these 20s and even some teens here into Minnesota. It's going to be bone chill and cold with those wind chills and lake effect snow. As we head on into Saturday, look what starts to happen. 40s into the Ohio Valley. We're eroding these 30s pretty quickly as a warming trend ensues across much of the south as we head into Sunday, December 15th. Look what's going on here. The warming trend continues, although watch out. We're getting some cold air damming along the Appalachians, so that could play into our storm system that moves in Sunday night and Monday. Speaking of Monday, look what happens, though. The warm air wins out 50s all the way up into the Ohio Valley into parts of the eastern Great Lakes. 40s, the rule across much of the Northeast, right around lower 50s here for New York City. And look at the mid-Atlantic down here. Pretty warm for this time of year. The only cold air is bottled up across the northern plains here, teens and 20s. As we head into Wednesday, December 18th, that cold air does start to build. The extended forecast from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. It's going to be a clear, cold start as we head on into Friday. Look at Friday morning, could be down to 10 degrees, those normally colder valleys. We will make it up to the mid to high 20s. By Saturday, though, we're up into the lower 30s. Sunday, we have a chance for rain and snow showers. We're making it up towards the mid to upper 30s. Watch out Sunday night, though. We could have snow and then mixing with rain towards Monday morning. So rain likely on Monday as we soar back up into the 40s to near 50 degrees. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.